Hello and welcome back to another Train Sim World 3 video with the timetable scenario, Edge Hill, coach shunting. The reason why I'm doing this yet again is because changes have been introduced. The release of the Peak Forest Railway, Ambergate, Chinley and Buxton Route. And when they released that, another patch or update was pushed, changing this route and maybe other scenarios and routes and timetable route scenarios, however you want to phrase it. An SOS change has been introduced, and this is one that has caught my eye when I first tried to do it on my Xbox, and I'll have all those videos in title cards that I've done. This is, from my perspective, it's the third video I'm doing on this particular scenario through the timetable. The first one of it has been up for a while, and up to a certain point you derail. There was no way to get past that engine shed, which is at the top of a little hill. So, and that was with TSW2 and TSW3. A patch was announced, and it was pushed out on May 4th for SOS, Spirit of Steam. For those that don't know the acronym, it even took me a while to figure out a lot of these acronyms. But anyway, a patch was pushed out to fix quite a few routes and scenarios in SOS. This being one of them, and it changed the starting location, and you no longer came up the little hill by the shed. You came up a different ramp, and I'll show all of that as I get through this video here, and bypassed that one little area where you derail. It didn't fix the second derailment point where I found it on the Xbox, which was after you. It's hard to explain because this video will not even show you that, because I can't go back to that because it's been changed quite a bit, but the other two videos hopefully will show that. Anyway, the derailment that I found on my Xbox and the PC version, which I did show in the second video I did on this, and you have to be extremely careful and drive the train no more than 3 miles an hour. If you went past 3 miles an hour, the train derailed. You never got to the point of shunting. Now you can get to the shunting part of the scenario. It brought it down to 22 minutes. For those that have never done this scenario, it was 25 minutes. So it was shortened, and the two locations where the train, the locomotive would derail, have been bypassed. Now, whether they were done like this to avoid those areas or for other reasons, I don't know, but I'll try to show as best as I can and hopefully not make this video too long. I'm not going to do the entire scenario. That's already been done in video 1. Now video number 2, and actually I have a fourth one. For whatever reason, when I started doing the scenario, it looked like it was in the middle of the night. But let's get started, and I'll yammer away while we're getting up to the point where I'll end the video and give my closing thoughts, so to speak. So let's get started. Okay. Here we are with Edge Hill coach shunting. You're still starting at 0634 hours in the morning. You're still using the LMS Jubilee, and you're still at Liverpool Lime Street. So all of this has not changed. Where you're starting has changed. So let me put this in, actually put it in reverse. Let me get the lights on. Now, they did quiet down the relief valve here, which is a good thing. Thank you for my ears. But they did not make these lights any brighter. I wish they would have, because even here you can't even tell that they're on. Well, they are on. It doesn't even look like it. They didn't make the backlights any brighter. With all the changes they made, I would have thought that they would have done that too. But here's where you start. And prior to, in video number 2, you started inside the shed here. You'll see that in video number 2. And you start facing east. I already used a little compass. You'll see that when you're out on foot with your little cartoon character, that's the only time you see the compass. It'd be nice if there was a compass either in the top center of the screen or even by the odometer. It'd just be nice if there was a compass. But anyway, I digress. But now you start over here You know what? Let me change it to free cam. Free cam, fly cam. Okay. So now you start over here by the train station, where before, originally, you started back there. I'll pass the sheds as we get that way to where you do the shunting. But in the fourth SOS patch, the 4th of this month, the May 4th, I should say, May 4th, 2023, the patch was pushed out for SOS. And it changed it where you started here and you were facing east. Now you're facing west. And as I said, I'll get to the points of derailment as we go along. But they also made changes to the ambient sound. Right now you're hearing, I'm hopeful I should say, that you are hearing the ambient sounds outside of the steam locomotives. What would sound like cars driving on a road, but you no longer hear the occasional what sounds like workers in a building. But you don't hear the occasional siren anymore. And even if I go over here, and I have the game volume at max. I can't make any louder within the game itself. As well as the ambient sound, the game sound, outside of the sounds for the all the bleeps, and when you're using the talk about brain fart, when you're working with the settings, those sounds, right? Those sounds are still pretty low because I don't need them that loud, but everything else I put up to the max. But as you move through this area here, it gets to a point where it becomes you can barely hear the barking of a dog, and the sound gets absolute silence. This was never the case, and it is not with the other steam routes and scenarios. Be better informed, read Dove Times. Really? Okay. But you could, even the siren, like an ambulance siren, it's almost non-existent. And if you come over here, I understand this is like a train yard. Well, not like it is a train yard. I'm sure there's more than just silence. Oh, I just hit a sound box. Is what I call it. I don't know what Dovetail calls it, but it's basically it's like with the ambient occlusion. This is for sound. Once you get to a certain point, you hear sound, you leave that location, and that sound is gone. That doesn't include the trains and locomotives, but the further you get away from any trains, it's absolute silence. It was never like this. Not on this route. Not on this scenario. I'm killing my FPS here. But over here, there's plenty of sound. So anyway, I just hope this is, hope there's a, okay. Anyway, let me get back to why I'm doing this video. Doing the little flying around with the camera, with the sound and everything is all part of it, but it's in reverse. Okay, hey, there we go. My real driver was showing that the brakes were up, but they clearly were not. Okay. So, I'm going to stay with the fly cam, the free cam. Pick up some steam here. FPS is bouncing like crazy. Getting a little bit too much steam here. I don't want to be moving that fast. Okay, I'm going to slow this down just a little bit, because I need to, while this is running to its location, I want to be able to go over the points that I was talking about earlier. So I need to go with the free cam again. Okay. Now, one of the points of contention that were fixed, changed, corrected, was here. And I showed that in video number 2, the engine shed junction. And as you came up this little hill, the train would derail right here. I'm guessing these switches didn't change as they were supposed to. Don't know what the real problem was, because these switches are controlled by the game's AI. You, the player, cannot do anything with these. And the other one was, the other contention of derailment was back here, and it was after those switches there where my little dot pointer is. And I even mentioned that you could use the auto parts for sale and the what is that, the Wavertree Junction building as a point of reference, where you got to a certain point and not even these, okay, that's my second waypoint. You would, your train would make its turn to come over here to go to that waypoint that you see there in blue. And the derailment would happen right here. As you can see, there's a junction that changes the track from the right one to the center one over to the left one. Well, that's over here, rather, from center to right. And there's no switch here. And the derailment of the train would happen right here. Now, as this is set up right now, it is actually set up for your train to come down and get diverted to go straight down. Here comes my train. You would need a switch to move these rails to go over to the center. Now, maybe it was too much work, or they didn't think it was necessary. I really don't know. This would have to be, explained by the developers, Dovetail, because this is where the other derailment point was, both PC and Xbox. Now you don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to come over here. Basically, you pick up a little bit of steam, so you come up the hill. You would end up at this waypoint no matter what. Whether you're coming the way my train the way I just came up here with the train, or you came the way it was before, you would end up at this waypoint no matter what. You would come down this center, the track on the right side here, back down over to there, then pull forward, and you're supposed to come forward down the track that I am on now with the Jubilee. Well, you never could get this far. If you're able to make it up the hill over there with the PC version, then you couldn't get past this part here. And I did repeat it several times, driving at a snail's pace, 3 miles an hour or less. You were able to get through and get over here and finish the shunting procedure. And now all you do is you back up into here, put this into forward. Let me go over to where you hook up. 3 coach cars right here. Okay. Like I said, I'm not going to do the entire scenario. There's no need to, because I already did it in the second video, which was done after the patch of May 4th and before the release of the DLC on the 9th. This is being done well after the DLC that was released on the 9th. The Buxton Route. For the life of me, I can't keep that name in my head. The Peak Forest Railway. When that was released, 17 miles an hour, slow down. Right now I'm just checking to make sure I'm going the right way. There we go, okay. All right, let's slow this down so we don't derail. Yeah, baby. I love a good thunderstorm. Haven't had one of those around here in a long time. Okay, let me make sure. One thing I didn't check was, I gotta change this from Buckeye. I'm just letting gravity do the work here. Hook up there. Wait for the bleep bleep. Delayed reaction. Okay, so no, we don't need tail lamps. Come on. Hey, wait a moment. Put this in reverse. A little bit of steam. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Oh, come back over here. I'm just going to pull up to here with the train and that one coach car, and for the most part we'll be into the video with a little bit of context from me as to why I'm doing this. It's more of a information as to how things were and what they are now with the different changes. Okay. Put that into neutral. I'm not going to be going any further. I got the brakes on completely, but that's pretty much it. This is the beginning of the shunting, and you just follow the prompts as they are given to complete a consist, and then you move on from there. You know, as I said, the video number 2 is the longest one. It shows the entire scenario, shortened as best as possible and sped up in many places just for the sake of time, and I tend to do a lot of yapping. But anyway, okay, so you always ended up here and always ended up with what I just did after you stopped at that waypoint over there where the wall gets shortest. And like I said, you were on the Xbox version, you're able to get up here with no problem, following the prompts to pull up, back up, pull up to the waypoint, and then get told, you know, where to hook up your locomotive. The PC version, that same place, you were not able to go up a little higher. On the PC version, you were never able to get past that shed. And if you were able to, which was a hit and miss, you'd back up to what is essentially an abandoned train station. At least that's what it looks like. Or maybe it's for future use. I don't know. Oh, the rain is going away. No. Wish it would rain a little longer. I love a good thunderstorm. Anyway, repeated myself. Then you pulled up. But the thing is, at one point, right past that shed over there, you were not able to get past that one junction. If you were going, 7, 8, 10, and the speed limit was 20 miles an hour, I believe, for the most part. So it took me a while to figure it out, but I figured out that if you moved at between 1.5 miles an hour to 3 miles an hour, you can get through there and finish the scenario. But they pushed the update through when they set this new DLC to come out on the 9th, and they either that was baked in with the DLC. I don't know. I should have watched the video, the roadmap video, and that's my fault for not doing so. It may have been stated there, but either way, it shortened her out, made it even shorter, and essentially, you are starting from the train station down there, and you're just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I liked it the way it was, where you started over there in the shed, pulled up to what is essentially a dead end, then you backed up over here. It's hard to see because it's a little dark, but you'd end up underneath an overpass, and then you'd pull up the hill to a waypoint where you would stop somewhere by the signal light that you see over there, and then pull forward, or back up, I should say, to almost the abandoned station, and then pull forward up to here. I would have liked to have seen it stay like that, but maybe it was too much work. They have to rework all the track. I don't know. I really don't know what's involved in putting one of these routes and scenarios together. So I'm only going on speculation and what my thought process is. But I do believe that could have been fixed. Rather than bypass that derailment point and this derailment point, by completely bypassing it and just having you back in here, go forward, and then just keep going back and forth. It's almost like, if you took a piece of paper and a pencil and just scribbled left to right, left to right, left to right in a straight line. That's basically all you're doing. I mean, it's a scenario. I do like the game. It's not like I'm bashing the game where it's horrible. It's got its warts, it's got its pimples and scars and everything else. But rather than avoiding or bypassing a section, I would rather have seen it done in a more better way. Look, if it takes them, if it takes 6 months to fix something, fine. I'd rather have it done the right way. Take longer. Take the time to fix it. Take the time to make it look better. Take the time. Rushing, haste makes waste. And the more you rush, the more you try and push things out, that you end up with mistakes and errors and things get broken. The PC version looks so much better than the Xbox version, at least the Xbox One version. I don't have a Series X. But that's what they did. They bypassed those two junctions. And like I said, it's very likely that it would have been, again, just a guess, it would have been too much of a hassle to realign, put in switches. I don't know how much code is required or scripting. I started to learn scripting with another game many years ago, but life took over and I had to drop everything. So it's been a long time, but usually a scripting goes is if this, then that, else do this. And I mean, that's very oversimplified and I'm going off on a babbling tangent here. But these are the changes that were made, and this is the scenario as it is now. Now, will it change in the future? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I would like to have seen this a little bit longer. I mean, I like the longer routes. The little short ones are not bad. But they're just basically, something to, what? I need to do a little bit of gaming today. Do a couple of 7-minute scenarios. Some of them even 3 minutes. I've even done one that was actually 1 minute long. Sometimes, those things do come in handy. It's like, I just feel like doing a little bit. I don't want to spend 30 minutes, an hour. Fine, that's not the issue. But when everything becomes too short, very short, it's almost like that was underwhelming. And the other one I'm also going to put up, so that means it'll be 4 videos, because when I fired it up, like I said, it was literally midnight is what it looked like. The stars were out, it was very dark, and I was able to get it done, but I don't know. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I've done enough talking. I'll let the videos speak for themselves. I do hope you watch them in their entirety. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for staying with me this far. If you've made it this far, I thank you, and it's much appreciated. Köszönöm szívesen, gyertek vissza, akármikor akartok, and by all means, smash that thumbs up, likes button if you found any of this useful, informative. Try not to be funny, because it's really nothing funny here. There's nothing. I'm not doing this to be a jokester. Yeah, I do dad jokes here and there, but this is just basically to show how the route was changed, how the scenario changed, where you start, and leave your comments down below, subscribe, share, and by all means do come back. I do this because I like to, but I also want to make sure that I'm giving a quality product, so to speak, to you, the viewer. And I do look for comments to see what people are saying, what do they think, and that's basically it. I mean, it is what it is for now, and I would like to see it put back the way it was, maybe even add a little bit to it, but it is what it is. Thank you for being here. By all means, do come back. And with that said and done, y'all come back now, you hear? Bye-bye for now.